Coach, if you wouldn't mind, could you give us an opening statement and just synopsis of the upcoming year and how practice went so far at fall camp?
All right, first of all, we're very excited about the upcoming 2022 season. Our team has a lot of experience returning. We expect big things and high expectations with this group. They've been working extremely hard throughout the spring, summer to prepare for these moments, and we're excited to see them finally get the opportunity to showcase what they've been doing and how hard they've been working. A lot of talented players, and it's going to be a fun year for the Black Bears.
Just kind of what have you seen from this group this year that sticks out to you a little bit in compared to teams in years past?
Maturity. They're focused on the task at hand. They're focused on getting better. Good senior leadership out of this group. The two gentlemen sitting next to me have done a great job of setting the tone for both the offense and the defense, and leading the team. And that experience it's irreplaceable. That's one thing as a football team. Experience is something that until you get out there and do it under the lights, that stage can be a little bit bigger than normal. Those lights a little brighter, so slowing the game down and being able to anticipate the situations of the game, that experience is very valuable for that.
Coach, as everybody knows, spring can look a lot different than fall, and fall look a lot different than spring. What have you seen from your team over these last 4 to 5 months since your spring game? How have they grown?
Well, first of all, knowledge. Just what their job is and how to do their job. They've had a lot of practice time in between spring and now, so better understanding the game and how they fit into the game, and growth in that. Of course, physical growth as well, as they've had 3 good solid months of getting bigger and stronger and faster, and that maturity. The more reps they get, the better they're going to get.
This question is for both players. How important was it to play so much football a year ago when some of your teammates and yourself maybe didn't have the type of experience that the previous group had 2 seasons ago, but now understanding what it takes to win at a high level and represent Austin, the program at Austin, and the success? How important was it to kind of gain that experience last year in game to prepare you for a potential big year this season?
For me, it was big because I had to catch up to the speed so I can get right, and so the team will feel better. And so now, since we got the experience under us, now we feel more comfortable. The game slowed down for us. Now we're just having fun playing football.
For me, it was going out and being able to lead, being experienced, so I can going out there and play it, like you said, at speed. It's faster than, playing on junior varsity or anything. So being out there, going out there and lead and be able to play full speed.
Coach Pershing, can I ask you that same question? You've had some great teams under your belt in your tenure at Austin. You got a lot of young guys that were talented, just hadn't done it before. How confident are you just with, from then last game of last year to heading into week 0 of this potential for this group?
Well, that experience allows you to anticipate things better. You see things better. For instance, with the quarterback, filtering through, in game and getting that experience in action, it's going to make a lot of mistakes. The quarterback has to make a lot of decisions, and he's got to make them fast. And when everything's chaotic and going fast around him, it's hard to make those decisions in real time when they need to be made and how they need to be made. So that gaining that experience allows everything to come into a little bit better focus for him. And like De'Aaron, he's able to diagnose and anticipate and make decisions faster and be correct more than not. And the same thing as a linebacker. For Drews and any position you play, when you can anticipate and see things and that picture clears for you before it even happens, then you're going to be a step faster. And you look a lot of times, the difference between winning and losing is 1 step. And that's it. So most teams don't have to get 10 steps better. They got to get 1 step better. Now, you can't all of a sudden go from running a 5 flat to a 4.7 in a short amount of time, but you can anticipate it one step faster, one step earlier. And that experience allows for that. These guys have now experienced just about every up and down and situation in the football season that they can experience. They experienced winning, they experienced losing, they experienced close games and blowouts. They experienced all of those things within the game, and now they're prepared to actually excel in the game.
On the topic of experience, you know, going into last season, you had a couple different holes you needed to fill with some guys that had graduated, a bit of a younger group, some guys that might not have seen as much action under the Friday night lights. Looking at those positions now, what are you most impressed with, you know, the guys who maybe only have a year under their belts, but now they've got that year of experience heading into this one?
Well, the whole, you know, in installing our offenses and defenses, there's a lot of carryover with it. So when you talk to them, everything's not new. They get it, they understand it. So, and then understanding the game of football, there's a lot of things as a coach, we can't cover every single thing that's gonna happen. We have new things happen every single year, but they've seen those things. And the ability to adapt and you know, overcome the adverse or different situations in the game and actually make a play and do those things. They have that ability now, where a year ago, you know, they kind of fumbled through that.
To both of the players, does y'all's coaching staff, do they have to get you ready for practice? Do they have to hype you up at all, or are you just so excited to get after this upcoming football season?
For me, I'll be excited. I love going against the defense, especially when we compete. We always get each other better and just working.
Absolutely, bring the energy all for real. But it doesn't really take for the coach to, you know, come get us hype. I do it myself as a linebacker. We coming hot every practice.
I'm going to stick with the Aaron Drews. Guys, Coach mentioned a little while ago about the leadership qualities that you guys bring to the table. I want to know from you, what kind of contributions do you think you bring to the table for your football team, and what do you expect out of yourselves here in the season?
Like leadership, as you say, I got to be a leader. I got to lead them and show them what I'm doing. And as I do it on the field, that's where they follow me, so they can do their jobs and do it correctly. And so we just expecting a big season.
For me, it's going out there and keeping the defense's head straight, you know. Going out there and leading by example more than verbally. And that's it.
Coach Purvis, you open with Hartselle. This is the 5th year in a row Austin and Hartselle played together. Y'all split the previous 4, and the winner out of those games went 3 times have gone on to win the region championship. So how important is it to play an opponent like Hartselle first game of the season?
Well, I think it's a great opening game for us because it's a rival game. We know Hartselle's going to have a good football team year in, year out. So it's a great test for our young men. We want our team to be put in pressure situations. We don't want a situation where they feel comfortable, because the best way to improve is to be uncomfortable. And a lot of coaches believe, and I kind of sign on this as well, some of your best improvements as a team go from the first game to the second game. Because you finally get out there, practice I mean, all you've done is practice, all it is Austin versus Austin, and you finally go out there and experience those game situations. So you make big improvements in that. And you want that first game to be a little bit of a pressure situation to see how they handle those things. And you know, I don't want to play a game where I feel like we're going to walk out there and win without hardly trying. So that for us is why we try to play it. And the rivalry game has added pressure. So it's great for us in preparation for a region game where it means something and playoffs are at stake to go out and we actually have 2 rivalry games to start the season. Yeah. So we got double the pressure on that. But it's Hartselle, Decatur, those games for us are always some of the better environments as well. So they're playing in a little bit bigger stage, you know, with a bigger crowd, and there's a little bit more hype around the game. So, and I think that's great for our program and our kids.
Players like to comment about getting open with Hartselle?
I'm ready. We've been playing them since middle school, and So we know a lot of their guys, they know a lot of us. So it's just a big rivalry, and it's really for bragging rights. So we just want to go out there and get the win.
Coming off the game last year, you know, I'm just ready. I want to go out there and prove that we can compete.
Coach, I know sometimes other coaches will try to manipulate where that bye week comes into play since they just put in that week 0. Last year, your bye week came in the middle of the season, which seemed to be an opportune time as you won the second half of the season at 3-2. But your bye week this year comes at the very end. You're going to play 10 straight. Is that something that you strategize, or did it just kind of fall that way, or what happened?
Absolutely. In our experience moving up to 7A, our crossover in the playoffs is against what we feel like is one of the best regions in the state, the Region 3 out of Birmingham. I felt like it was an advantage to us to have 2 weeks to prepare for that playoff opponent. Being the Birmingham area plays a little bit different brand of football. So, in our experience in 7A playoffs, we played Mountain Brook, which was, they do a lot of stuff. We could have used 2 weeks to prepare for them. We played Thompson, which Thompson at the time is kind of, right now they're at the top of the food chain. We could have used 2 weeks to prepare for them. And then we played Oak Mountain, who was running Flexbone, which at that time our players had never seen Flexbone live in person. They may have seen it on a video game. So it was a completely different offense for us to have to defend. So, in hindsight, those 2 weeks to prepare for those opponents would have been really beneficial, not to mention a lot of the Region 3 teams are taking week 10 off. So when we match up in the playoffs, we don't want to match up against a team who's had 2 weeks to prepare for us, and we've had a very challenging opponent in week 10. So, yeah, strategy. I like the open week in the middle of the season to break the season in half. So I'm not opposed to that, but I felt like for us to have a better opportunity to make a run through the playoffs, that we needed that extra time to prepare for that first round opponent. And the first round has kind of been an Achilles heel to the Region 4 the past several years.
Also, I know this is the time of year where team goals start to get set. First of all, do you set them, or do you allow the players to set them? And I guess the other side of that question is, what are some of those team goals that you could share?
We're setting goals right now. We've set them too late. At the end of last season, I met with every player individually, every returning player individually, one-on-one. We talk about goals. We talk about what individually they want to see coming up in the upcoming season. And we talk about what we want to see as a team. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be successful. Not everybody's willing to do what it takes to be successful. So goals are important, and we talk about those. And each one of them, they set their individual goals, and they all want to be successful. It's more important what you do with that desire to achieve a goal.
Coach, question about De'Aaron. You've had some really good quarterbacks at Austin. Could you just take us through just his growth and his development at that position relative to him getting that nod a year ago and moving forward to potentially having a big year this year?
Well, De'Aaron, since day one, has been a very heady quarterback. He's been advanced as far as being able to understand offenses and defenses and how things run. So, his growth has been tremendous in that area, but he started a little bit ahead of what most quarterbacks do coming in. The biggest change in De'Aaron has been the physical development. De'Aaron's not a big, imposing quarterback. And coming in, his arm strength was very average, and he's worked on that extremely hard and thrown a lot of footballs to gain strength, and the biggest improvement was with the physical side of it. But as far as the head knowledge, and there's a lot to learn on the field. That experience was very valuable. But right now, and if you went and watched him in a 7-on-7 this summer, it was magical. I mean, it was fun to watch. You call a play and he's making decisions at the snap of a finger and getting the ball to the right place at the right time. at a high percentage and played at a high level. He's ready for it. He's worked hard, he's studied a lot. I ask a lot out of our quarterbacks. Sometimes when I call plays, I'm not calling a play, I'm making a suggestion. I did it with Quincy his senior year. His first year, it was more me calling plays and pointing him in the right direction. Second year, I made a suggestion and he made the decisions. Well, that's where De'Aaron is right now. And that's where it works best, because from the sideline, I can't always get us in the right spot. But on the field, he can. And when he understands how the offense works, what he's going against, and he really reads through everything pre-snap, then he can make the right decisions whether to give the ball, throw the ball, or it goes here or here. And that makes our offense work because it allows us to attack where they're not strong.
Coach, I know you guys will have your first scrimmage this Saturday. What are some of the things that you're looking for? What questions do you have headed into?
We want to compete. That's the thing. We want to compete. We want all I got it, because competitive spirit is what drives winning and losing. Again, a lot of times there's a fine line between winning a game and being successful and not winning. Finding ways to win. And games are going to have the ups and downs. They're going to have the other team's going to have momentum at times. We're going to have momentum at times, and it's the competitive drive, the will to win, and the desire to not lose. You got to hate losing, and what we want to see our guys compete. And you'd be surprised that that's not a natural reaction from a lot of kids. That they don't know how to handle those competitive situations and really drive to go out and make that play, give that little extra effort, be a little bit more focused to be successful. We want to see them compete. That's been a big word this summer, is compete, compete, compete. And and then we want to see them growth in the offense and the defense and doing the right things, being in the right spot. So, and then our big thing right now, we have the experience returning, but behind them is a lack of experience. So depth is a big issue right now. It's a concern in several spots. I mean, most high schools, you're injury or two away from being a uh-oh kind of mode. And so we want to develop that depth. You don't ever want to see injuries, but to go through a 10 game season and then a playoff run, the chances of going unscathed, you're going to have somebody who's a 2 right now step up and go play like a 1. So developing that depth is awfully important.
Good questions there. All right, that'll be it there. Thank y'all. We'll get it rolled up.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.